So I did actually haul some books from Amazon and I really hate it that I did. You know, when you like read a book and like from the first pages, like you just know it's going to be like a great book. That is immediately what I got when I started reading this book. Hello, welcome to Where Sour Reads. I'm Deja, and today we are back with another reading vlog. I hope that you are enjoying these videos as much as I am enjoying making them. I feel like it's just helping me be more consistent with content, and I also just really like that it's helping me to be more in depth about what is and what isn't working for me while I am reading it. Like, I just enjoy hearing those things about books, so I'm really hoping that you guys are enjoying it as well. For this reading vlog, we are starting the hardest reading challenge you'll ever do. This is made by QWordy. I will link the announcement video down below for the second version of this game, just in case you want to participate. But yeah, I think I decided that I'm going to do it. And I was hesitating really doing it because last year I don't even think I got like 50% into this challenge. And I actually ended up like quitting before the challenge was even over. Like I think I still had like a few months left where I was just like, I'm just gonna give up now. So why am I deciding to do this again? I don't know. But I think my thing for this one is that like one, I feel like the prompts just feel a little bit easier, at least for me, for whatever reason. Maybe I'm being delusional, but they just feel easier. The second thing that I'm thinking will like help me in this round is that I'm not being delusional in terms of wanting to get a blackout. I know I do not read that many books. Like, there's no way I'm going to read that many books to complete a blackout for this challenge. But I'm thinking I will call it a success if I get a bingo. That's just going to be my strategy. If I complete five of the prompts and get a bingo, I will be happy. Anything other than that will be just an extra bonus because I do like the challenge. I think it's just a fun challenge just to see like how much we could read, help me get through like my backlist of things that I'm trying to read. So I do want to participate. And by the time that I'm filming this, we have actually already started. So here are just like a few of the books that I'm going to start reading just to like help me get a jump start on what I'm planning to complete. So one of the prompts for the hardest reading challenge that you'll ever do is focused around subgenres. So you can choose whatever overall genre that you want, whether that be a fantasy or it could be romance or maybe horror, I guess. I think horror has like subgenres, but you choose whatever overall genre you want and then you have to read, I think it's five subgenres within that overall genre. For this one, I decided I'm going to do romance. And so the first book that I am planning to read for that prompt is a historical fiction called The Duke's Defiant Cinderella. I am already 50 pages into this one and I am enjoying it. I was kind of weary of like how I was going to feel about it, especially in the beginning, just because she was a servant to the love interest's father, but they quickly resolved that because she's no longer a servant. I think she's the missing daughter of a comte, I want to say. So she is not like below him in like status in this historical society. This takes place in France, which I find very fascinating. There is like a little bit of like French words spread out in between, which feel very random, but it's whatever. It's less than 300 pages. I will say that their dynamic is like very interesting because, like I said, she was a servant to his father, and so like they basically grew up together while she was like serving him, and basically they had like a little bit of a friendship. When they find out that she's the comp's missing daughter and that they are actually on the same like status in terms of like in the society, they also find out that they are arranged to be married, which is wild. Like before they even born, because her father and his father were friends. They say that they're gonna have their children marry each other if it's a girl and a boy. So yeah. But the thing is, the male love interest is like, no, like I need somebody that has even more like status and all of that because both of them are mixed race people. So the guy is just like, I need someone that's going to elevate my status, not somebody who was previously a servant. And even though they were like friends, he's just like, I'm not doing what my dad was telling me to do. Like, I'm not marrying you. And so then they part ways. And now they are reconnecting. But just this little premise and just like little drama that already happened, I'm just like, I am hooked and I need to know how you guys are going to get together because, yeah, I just got to know. So this is the first book that I'm reading for this vlog, but also for the hardest reading challenge you'll ever do for the historical fiction. So that's the first one. I'm also thinking of starting an audiobook, but I have not been called to audiobooks this year. I've only read one book that's an audiobook, and that was a novella, and I have not felt like picking up any other books. So I highly doubt that I will pick up an audiobook while I'm doing a lot of things, but I did want to start this video and to say that I am participating in the hardest reading challenge you'll ever do. For now, I am going to just start my weekly reset routine where I do like cleaning and meal prep and stuff. And I'm hoping that later this afternoon I will be able to get into the books that I am reading. So let's go ahead and get this video started. So it has been a minute, and I want to say that's because I was taking a little bit of a break from filming. I have been very tired, but I also know that I've just been like super stressed. There's just a lot of stuff going on in the world and my personal life, and I've just been disassociating from like everything. So I didn't really want to pick up the camera and like update. But I'm feeling a little bit better now, which is why I am here. So while I was disassociating from everything, I did end up reading some, and I also bought more books. I don't know what it is. Like, I feel like every single vlog that I've had so far, I've hauled books, and I swear I'm not usually like this. I'm not usually one to buy books before I read them, and I usually don't buy books that often. But for whatever reason, the stress is making me want to buy books. So I did actually haul some books from Amazon, and I really hate it that I did, but like these are just a few books that I really did want to read. And I'm coming around to the fact that there are some authors that have to be exclusive to Amazon, unfortunately, just because they are not in like the US or the UK. And so just for like those authors to still support them, like you still almost have to do Amazon. But I think I'm pretty adamant about the fact that I don't want to do KU because I don't like the exclusivity for it, and I also just don't read that much from KU. And I will say that like even though like I've bought these books, like almost all of them, I either have read them or I tried a sample and the sample was enough to get me intrigued enough to read them. So let's start with the books that I did get from Amazon. Unfortunately, these are all indie books that I couldn't find other places just because the author didn't have wide distribution. And I will say that I always check that I can't get them anywhere else before I buy them, because there's another book that I actually did find on another place that I ended up buying there instead. But anyway, the first book that I have is I Am King by Damien Shillngsford. This is an adult epic fantasy following this 10-year-old prince who is basically being hunted by assassins, and he's being guarded by, I guess, these adult people on the cover as he is being hunted. I heard that this was really good, so I did want to give it a try. So that's why I got this one. The next one I actually heard about on Threads because I gave like a specific list of things that I was looking for in a fantasy romance, and this author said that a lot of the things that I was looking for, it was in there. It didn't hit like everything, but when the author did say that it hit like certain aspects, then I was just like, okay, I have to support. This is on KU, so I decided to get a physical copy, and that is the Lotus Key. This is an Indian inspired world fantasy romance, and I'm very excited to try this. It already seems like it's going to have more of like a unique spin just because it is Indian inspired. So I'm very excited to try this one out. The next one is another fantasy book that I saw on Amazon and was immediately intrigued because this author was actually in that like Amazon Originals like Afrofuturist like collab thing that they did. I didn't want to subscribe to KU just to read those, so I decided to try Scarlett Odyssey by this author. This is an author from Zimbabwe, and I really just thought that this sounded interesting. It sounds like there's going to be like some evil enchantress hunting the main characters in this, and I'm just very excited to like see what I'm going to get from this. Is it going to give me all of the magic that I've been missing in fantasy? Is it going to give me like fast-paced action? Like, I don't know, but this is kind of a thick book, so I'm very intrigued to see like where this is going to take me. And it's also a series, so I'm interested to know what I'm going to think of this. I already really like the writing because, like I said, I already sampled it, so yeah, excited for this one. Next, we have this box from Bookshop. I need to open it, so give me just a second. Some of the books that I got on this is actually books that I've already read, but other ones are ones that I haven't read, but authors that I want to try. I want to say I got like a decent amount of books from Bookshop, and they were just having their sale, which I didn't realize that they were going to be having a sale before I bought these books, but that's okay. I'm still happy I support because I got some books and I'm super excited to try. Okay, so the first one is a book that I've read before, and that is A Taste of Honey by Ashante Williams. I've been itching to reread this, and I was like, why don't I have a copy of this on my shelf? This is a fantasy novella, and this is basically a love story in the midst of a lot of political fantasy things happening, and I really loved this novella. Like, I just was really pulled in by the writing, and I was just thinking about it, and I just wanted to have a copy, and I want to reread it. And I just really love this cover too. The next one that I have is another novella, and that is A Wolf Sex and Blood. This is by Tamara, Jeree, who wrote one of my favorite novels from last year, The Fall That Saves Us. I just really like her prose, so yeah, we'll see. And then I have When Blood Meets Earth by E.A. Noble. This is an author that I've interacted with quite a few times so far, and I heard really good things about this book. I love this cover, and I'm really excited. Like, I cannot wait to dive into this. It is a sapphic romantasy, I want to say. I'm not quite sure if it's romantasy. I think it is. I know it's going to give me a lot of epic politics. The main character, I think, is actually a reaper, which I'm very curious about. So I'm very curious to know, like, what this book is going to give me. I've read things by this author before, and I do like their writing and like just the unique spin that they bring to things. So yeah, I'm interested to see what I think of their full-length novel. I have two more books. I did quite a haul. The first one is another fantasy romance, and that is Fate's Tether by Jade Nioma. I was intrigued with this one. I saw the author Omari Richards on Threads like reshare something that they post, and so when I was looking at this author's like profile, I found it very heartwarming that like this book, it has elements of domestic violence in it because the author actually experienced that in their first marriage. And so basically, this character is also experiencing that, but finding love afterwards, I believe. And I also wanted to support because the proceeds for the every copy that they sell, I believe they donate to a women's domestic violence like resource that can help women in those situations. So I definitely wanted to support that way, but also I feel like the writing is going to be beautiful. And I do think that I do have a tendency to like broken characters. And I won't say that like this character is broken, but like when you provide like that angst and like those emotional things, they're just emotionally damaged. And I tend to really love those characters, especially seeing them falling in love. So yeah, I'm excited for this. I don't know when I'm going to pick it up, but I'm excited. And the last book that I have is a science fiction romance called Bound Souls by Indy Jones. I've been looking for more BIPOC sci fi romances because I'm writing sci fi romance, but I don't see a lot of sci fi romance by BIPOC authors. And I know sci fi in general is not like a hugely popular genre, like if you compare it to like fantasy or like romance. And so I was very curious about this one. It seems like this one also deals with like heavy themes in terms of dealing with like grief, but I'm pretty sure this is a romance and that like she has to go on and potentially she finds another love interest. I'm not sure honestly, but I did want to at least try this and it's short enough that like I think I could get through it. And I will say that I have tried books by this author before that weren't necessarily my favorites, but I can't deny that like the premises that the author writes, like they're just so interesting. It seems like they are on their own planet, and the person that died was like her soulmate, but it seems like apparently he's not really dead because he's trying to come back. So yeah, it's kind of like a soulmates thing. So I'm very curious what I'm going to get from this. But yeah, that's all the books that I hauled. A lot of indie books, actually. I'm happy with my little haul. I think I'm excited for all of the books I'm going to read. And I actually like that I'm hauling these books, even though I'm not really supposed to be really buying books. But I like that I'm hauling these books because I feel like it's starting to help me reflect more of what my reading tastes are now as opposed to when I bought a lot of my books. Like I was a completely different reader then. So yeah, I'm happy to be like filling up my shelves. But now let's talk about reading updates. So I did end up finishing the Canopy Keepers and it was interesting. Like I think the ending was more of like the stronger aspects of it, but I don't know. I do think that the pacing was a little bit off in that book. And I was even reading the synopsis of the second book, which is the one that I have an arc of. And it seems like it might be the exact same story, but just told from a different perspective. Yeah, we'll see how that goes. I still think that the world was very interesting, and I really appreciated the level of detail that the author had when writing this. Like, you could tell that they did so much research, and even in the author's note there was just like so many places that she was just talking to. Like I think she talked to fire departments and just other places, and I was just like, I definitely admire that she did all of that. But when it comes to like the actual story, like I said, like I think that the pacing was a little bit off. It took a little too long to like really get started, and then once things did start, like it almost felt like it was happening like a little too fast. The characters were fascinating though. I will say that there was like a little bit of a romance that was very insta love. I don't know what happened that made her like this character, but yeah, that happened. But overall, I think I would give it like 3.5 stars. Like, it wasn't terrible, but it also wasn't a favorite. I have not read more of the Duke's Defiant Cinderella. I'm thinking I will probably finish this probably this weekend, maybe. I'm not exactly sure, but I'm still enjoying it. I just haven't really been in a reading mood. So, yeah, I am still reading this. I have also started reading The Memory of the Ogisi, which is an arc that I have. And by the time you see this video, the book will be out. But you know, when you like read a book and like from the first pages, like you just know it's going to be like a great book. And that is immediately what I got when I started reading this book. Like I am 49% into this book, I think. And I'm just having a great time. I really love this author's writing. Like I just really love just how he just pulls you into the story, and like he's telling you the story, but like I don't know how to explain it. It's like he's telling you the story of like somebody else's story, but he also like just throws in like these questions about like storytelling. Like for this character in this book, like they study like stories because they're trying to find this lost treasure. But as he's starting to realize like stories aren't necessarily always like true, and they're like just like made up, and like there's also just little threads of like the characters from the last books, like the Aleki from the last series, and just yeah, I'm just really enjoying it. Like I will probably buy this entire trilogy because yeah, I really, really love it. And the last book that I actually started is Birth of a Dynasty. This is another one that I have an arc of. When I started this book, I was not a big fan of the prologue. I feel like it was just basically info dumping things about the world, which I'm never really a huge fan of. And granted, the prologue wasn't like super long, but I was just like, I don't know how I'm gonna feel about this book. But then we get to the first chapter, and when I tell you, like, everybody's being murdered, I was just like, oh my gosh. Like, it was just like people after people. And I was here for it. I will say that I think that this book is going to give me the vengeance that I did not get in Blood Slaves. And I am ecstatic about that. I don't think that it's showing up yet, but the first chapter is basically the main character of this book. I want to say Mburu. I think that's his name. We are basically with him as he's seeing his entire family murdered, and this is basically setting him up on that path for revenge. And I am here for it. It's almost like giving me like Rage of Dragons vibes, but so far I do not think that Imburu is as insufferable as Tao was in Rage of Dragons. So I definitely think that people that like Rage of Dragons will probably like this one as well. And even the people that didn't like Rage of Dragons will probably like this as well. But like I said, I'm only 11% into this book because I only read one chapter. So yeah, I am having a good time reading this though. Like there was just like a few like writing things that I was just like, I don't know why we did this. Like two of the characters, I was just like, why did you do that? Like I don't understand. Like I don't know. And then like sometimes it did seem like the scenes were going on like a little bit too long. I was just like, why are you taking so long to die? Like you're just about to die. Like just do it. But overall, I thought it was fine. I was pulled in by all of the action and stuff happening. And I'm very curious with like this villain who is the prince that's like basically taking over Imburu's kingdom. And I was just like, I gotta know where this goes. So yeah, my reading is going really well so far. I'll probably read a little bit more tonight, but for now, I am going to wash my hair and just have like a chill night. I may do some reading because I do want to finish at least the memory of the Ogisi tonight. But yeah, I will check in later. Okay, it is time for me to wrap up this video. Sorry for the weird angle. I am just feeling very low energy right now. So I am just lounging on the couch, and I'm probably going to take a nap right after I do this update. But I did end up going to the library. I did get a few more books that I had on hold, but for the most part, I just read at the library. I got a little bit further into the Duke's Defiant Cinderella. I am almost halfway through it now. I feel like I'm getting that like banter and that angst that I usually liked in Bridgerton. I'm just really enjoying the setup. I'm really just enjoying being with these characters. The French that's included is very random, but it's a short historical romance from Harlequin, so yeah, I feel like it's fine. Like, I'm having a good time, and that's really all that matters. I'm also a little bit further into Birth of a Dynasty. I can't remember if I talked about this one before, but this one is an arc that I got that should be releasing by the end of the month. While I was anticipating it, I didn't have the highest hopes for it just because it's an author I haven't read before. So, like, you just never know if you never, like, sampled their writing. And I did find out that this is an author that has published before, but this is a completely new genre from them. So, yeah, I just didn't really know what to expect. I'm 20% into it, and I don't think that it's bad, but I don't think that it's like peak fantasy. It starts off with a lot of murder, which was very intriguing. But now that I'm like 20% into it, I feel like we're still kind of like dealing with like the ramifications of this prince killing basically an entire royal family, except for one of the main characters who is the last surviving heir to that throne. So it's a lot of politics happening. But yeah, I don't think that it's bad at all. Like, I think that it's actually a pretty decent book so far, but I don't know if it's going to be an absolute favorite. Like, there's just little things with like the writing and just like the choices that some of the characters make that almost just have me not pulled away from the story, but like it just makes me question a few things. So yeah, I'm still very intrigued to continue it, and I'm still going to finish it, especially because it is like less than 400 pages, and I'm not having a bad time. So yeah, we'll see how this one goes. I realized that I forgot to actually talk about The Memory of the Ogisi, which I also finished. And I really love that series. I feel like the way that it ended just really wrapped up the series very nice. It really brought the calls back to the first and the second book, which I really enjoyed. Honestly, just a novella series that I highly recommend and that I am for sure purchasing. So if you have not started that series, I highly recommend starting it. The writing is beautiful, the characterization is amazing. Like, honestly, I cannot stop thinking about that series. So, highly recommend that one. But yeah, that was basically my week. It was a pretty light week. But that'll wrap up this video. I feel like I'm very low energy right now, but I really do need a nap. So let's just go ahead and close out this video. I really hope that you have enjoyed watching, and I will see you in my next video. Bye!